Megaman X4 was originally known as Rockman X4 in Japan. It was developed and released by Capcom, and it is the fourth installment in the Megaman X series. And it would also be the second game in the series to be released on both the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation, which would receive a release in 1997. And the game would follow on the journey of Mega Man long into the future, with the premise of the game following a unique storyline that follows on from many other elements seen in the series, and also involves many of the iconic play features and platform elements that would have become synonymous with the series in general. You have everything from various type of action, adventure type of aesthetics, shooting mechanics, platforming elements, all while trying to avoid and defeat enemies and end of level bosses. And with this version of the game being released on the likes of the PlayStation and the Saturn, it took full use of the hardware capabilities of the time, as the graphics, the 2D visuals that are on display are quite simply gorgeous. They're among some of the best 2D visuals that you can probably see on any game on the platform during that time. While they are very cartoony, it just fits into the whole aesthetic of the Mega Man series in general. The graphics and even the environments, the levels that you end up in within the game are just simply beautiful to look at. And they still hold well even by today's standards, which is a testament to the overall quality of these type of games. So with Mega Man X4, with the story revolves around certain elements that happen within the future, and you're tasked as part of a group or a task force of hunters that has been designated to track and hunt down various types of threats and enemies. So the game requires you to go through a multitude of different levels, and what's cool about this game is the fact is that once you complete the first level, you then go back to the central hub after each stage, and it allows you to select between the variety of levels that are within the game itself. Now of course there are various unlockables and additional features and elements that you can unlock as you progress, and even in some cases that will require you to revisit some of the stages to find some of the secret elements that are also available, which again will allow you to progress further in the game itself. But you have a varying mix of different styles with regards to the level design and the background, and even the play elements and control elements within each of the levels. Because while the game is beautiful, let's just say that this game isn't easy. If you're not used to playing Mega Man games, there's a very good chance that it will take you a while to figure out what to do. But it doesn't take away from the whole aesthetic of the game. It really is a lot of fun. There's a lot of challenging elements in it. The cool thing about these type of games is that it presents the perfect balance between action and just overall playability. The levels themselves can be quite challenging, but you'll get through them after a few tries. The bosses, however, will struggle, will cause you some heartache, if you will, because there's certain elements on even one of the levels that I was playing on. You have to try and hit the enemies at certain hit zones, but at the same time you also have to contend with some of their attack patterns, and in some cases they can literally just wipe you out in a matter of only a couple of seconds. It will take you ages to damage them, but they can literally wipe you out with 2 to 3 hits, sometimes even less, depending on how they actually hit you. So you just have to be very aware and mindful of your surroundings, and everything has to be timed to perfection in order to avoid enemy attacks and any obstacles that are literally thrown at you. But that's just literally the idea behind the majority of these games. They are a lot of fun, but at the same time they are very, very challenging. But again, the one advantage you do have from being able to replay the levels, as you do defeat various elements, you can gradually upgrade certain abilities and features, so again your player can become stronger, so inevitably you will be able to do more damage and acquire better, more tactical and even more devastating weaponry to use at your disposal. So in turn it can work in your advantage, but you just have to play through the game for a while in order to achieve those elements. But this is just another one of those games that's part of a long lineage of Mega Man games that started all the way back on the likes of the original Nintendo, because the Mega Man series from Capcom is one of the biggest series pretty much by the developer in history, and it proves that the fact is that it was able to go through multiple generations, even up until pretty much the modern day, with various different iterations seen on the PlayStation that kept with the 2D visuals and aesthetics but would gradually move on to 3D. Like the PlayStation alone has a load of different games from the Mega Man series that were released on it as well. So that's just a true testament to how well thought out and how well put together these games generally are. Like this game did get really good reviews on the likes of the magazines, and it was only runner up for side-scrolling Game of the Year, and was only runner up to Castlevania Symphony of the Night in 1997. which we all know, if you haven't played that game, that is considered to be one of the best and greatest games of all time, and it's definitely, without a doubt, one of the best side-scrolling action games that you could ever play, because that game is just phenomenal in its own right, and it's beautiful in terms of its visuals. It's one of the best looking 2D games you could ever possibly see or play. So the fact is that the Mega Man series is able to be right up there with those type of style of games definitely is a testament to how good and the quality of these games and how good they really are. So this is just another one of those excellent 2D shooters, in all opinion to it. I will end up spending more time playing this game and getting into it, because the more I found myself playing it, the more I enjoyed it, because even for myself personally, going back, I never really played the Mega Man series growing up as such, because I never had a Nintendo. I had a Sega Master System and would later get to play the Mega Drive, and I even played on some of my friends like Super Nintendo and stuff, but nobody ever really had any Mega Man games. I've only really in recent years started to get to learn how to play them and even understand them. I would always see elements on like game shows or YouTube videos or types of reviews in magazines, and I often hear people talking about how good these games were, but again, it's one of those things that it's just, you have to play it to believe it really as such. And the truth is, I'm not disappointed, because they are phenomenal. Like, from what this version of the game, yes, it's challenging, but it's really good. It has some really good elements with the platform, and everything has to be timed. You even have like double jump features where you can bounce off of walls in order to reach higher areas. There's a lot of really cool features and elements in this game, but even at that, with the 2D graphics, the animations, the game is just simply gorgeous, and it's one of the best 2D looking games that I've ever seen, personally. It really is, and it just looks phenomenal. Even when you consider it by today's standards, it just holds really well. So it really is another one of those games from the series in general, or even just 2D action platformers, that you really should play. I highly recommend that you check it out. And obviously, if you're a fan of the Mega Man series, it's a no-brainer really at the end of the day. And I'm sure some of you probably have played this over the years, or maybe even have grown up with the game, so you probably know more about it than me. And if so, I would love to hear your thoughts of this iconic game, and what did you think of it overall. Is this your favourite game in the Mega Man series, or what other types of games in the series are you more fond of? I'd love to hear whatever stories you do have of this series of games, so be sure to share it down in the comments below. And if you have enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more games similar to Mega Man X4 that were also released on the PS1, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be updated of future videos. And if you would like to see more content around other types of 2D action platformers also seen on the PS2, then you can check out the playlist on screen to see more of those games in action. And as always, keep those gaming memories alive.